Shout out to USARK and all USARK members. If you don't know what USARK is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what USARK is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a USARK member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with USARK organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a USARK member. And if you can't become a USARK member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what USARK is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every USARK member and USARK supporter out there.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world. Episode 635. The return of Adam Wickens. Wickens, Wicked Reptiles. Good friend of mine. A huge fan of Adam. This is your first time tapping in. Do me a favor. Let's get the likes up. Free feature, right? If you support this channel, smash that like button. If you support Adam Wickens, smash that like button, okay? Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Select all. You'll be reminded of every podcast released out of the Trap Talk Reptile Network 7 days a week. The only reptile network that's been 7 days a week. We don't miss. All right, guys. And I got to remind you, you can listen to all these episodes that I put out under this network on all major audio platforms: Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the major ones. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to all those platforms as well. Love all the feedback. So drop some feedback in the comment section. And again, you guys are amazing, man. But I'm your boy, MJ. Good to see you guys here. Thursday nights. I love Thursday nights, man. This is the OG night for Trap Talk for me. But yeah, I'm very excited for tonight's guest, Adam Wickens, someone who, like I said, has been on this show before. Has made some pretty big moves in the reptile hobby. I mean, I look at him as one of the bigger figures that we have, leading by good examples, killing it on YouTube, just fucking overall like awesome guy, So we're gonna tap into a lot of amazing topics, catch up with Adam tonight. I do got to let you guys know, if you want exclusive content, you want to get more behind the scenes out of what you see, or if you just want to support me further than what you than just watching, come consider joining the Trap Talk Patreon family. You can join the Trap Talk Patreon family today by clicking the very first link in the description below. Once you join the Trap Talk Patreon family, connect to a Discord, over 300 amazing reptile keepers, and the Instagram group chat is global, popping, trappers from all over the place. But yeah, so much to learn from all of us, and I got to tell you, multi-reptile keeper diversity at its finest when it comes to the Trap Talk Patreon family. Trappers, you guys are my heart. Thank you for making everything so awesome. But yeah, guys, please come join. I do got to say, really thankful for, first and foremost, everyone in the live chats. Dude, you guys are awesome. Shout out to you in the live chats. I already saw someone asking if people like pickles. Definitely, that's an Adam fucking fan right there for sure. I haven't seen a comment like that, I don't think, ever. So shout out to you. Shout out to all the Adam people that are tapping in tonight. You guys are amazing. Let's get tonight's sponsors out of the way real quick. That way we get Adam on the show. But yeah, man, tonight's episode is brought to you by SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian Susan, my favorite in the tree monitor game, Kahua game, gargoyle, geckos, abronia. I mean, dude, I'm telling you right now, top level stuff. True high quality captive bred animals from Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Go to sundownreptiles.com. Go to his Instagram, see what he has available. And check out the video I put out on MorphMarket. Got a part 2 coming to that as well. So thank you so much, Brian Susan from SUNDOWN Reptiles. Also, tonight's episode is brought to you by GS Reptiles on YouTube and Instagram. Type in GS Reptiles if you want to learn and have a good time learning about arboreal species that you keep in this hobby, the rare ones, the real cool ones. This is your guy to learn it from. I'm telling you right now, Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much for your support, Gary. Also, tonight's episode is brought to you by Texas Chondros. My man, Mark Hager, one of the best out of Texas, one of the best in the chondro game, period, man. I'm telling you, he puts on a lot of other fellow Texas chondro keepers on, just Texas, I guess it's his thing, but does a great job doing it, and also has amazing projects that are going in his favor this year as well. So I wouldn't want to miss any of this stuff coming from Texas Chondros. Find all the links in the description below. Last but not least, shout out to David Brahms over at the Reptile Perch. If you're looking for a perch for your snake, this is the place to go for sure. PVC design from David Brahms, who also has amazing chondro clutches that he produces. If you're into the monocory, outcrosses to Highland stuff, then this dude, you got to go check out David Brahms. I'm telling you right now. Again, all the links to all my sponsors in the description below. Thank you for all the love and support. And again, I want to say thank you to everyone in the live chats. I don't want to waste any more time. This is the return of Adam Wickens. So much to cover, dude. We got a lot to talk about, me and Adam, okay? So you're in for a treat. So do me a favor, guys. Do what you gotta do to get your mind right. Do what you gotta do to stay hydrated for episode 635. Adam Wickens, Wicked Reptiles. Coming at you right now. Let's go. Sure.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, God love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
And we're live, episode 635. Adam, welcome back, dude. He's back.
Hey man, thanks MJ. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Love your shirt. Love that pocket tee.
I like it too, dude. I like it too. I need to make me some of these.
David Levison called him gay.
Well, he also wears pink jackets, so I mean, maybe it's one of those like looking in the mirror type things with him.
I love you, Dave, but once those shirts came out, I think over a year ago, and I gave Dave his shirt. I think it was Pomona or something. He was here and he was supposed to help me vend. Oh, he was helping me vend, and I gave him the shirt to put on. Like, let's all represent. And, and so he shows up, and he was definitely wearing something pink or something like, how are you gonna talk shit about my pocket tees? Look what you're wearing. But I'm like, dude, where's the pocket tee? He's like, you were serious about that shirt? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, that gay little pocket tee? I'm like, Dave, the fucking pocket tees are a hit, dude. Okay, you motherfucker. But yeah, anyways, I love it. Anyway,
He was probably wearing leopard print, looking you in the eye when he said that too.
Dude, but speaking of Pomona, I was super stoked to see you walking around. I think that was a year ago in June, right?
No, that was January this year.
That was the first Pomona, so it wasn't in June, it was in January.
Yeah, it was in January. So then next month I'll be out there again. That's the plan anyway. So yeah, it was a great show. It's it's a huge show, huge venue. Like it's a different vibe than any other show I've ever been to.
Yeah, shout out to Rami. I'm looking forward to it. I already invited you, and I don't know, I hope you can remember, but are you gonna be able to pull Trap Fest Friday in that weekend? Can you come?
I'm hoping so, yeah. So the plan is to go to Pomona. If I am going, then I'll just fly into San Diego instead and then head up that way, yeah.
We'd love to have you. It's going to be probably one of the biggest Trap Fests yet, is according to the RSVP list. So to have you there to meet a bunch of awesome, dedicated reptile keepers like yourself, it'd be a fun time.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I saw some of the video from last year and it seemed like it was a fun time. So if I can get out that way, then absolutely I'll fly in a day early and go and do it for sure.
All right. So why don't we talk about your business in the West Coast? Because I mean, obviously I know why you're there, but it was a shock. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Adam Wickens here at Pomona, and mind you, that's my home show. So I never seen you there. We had already known each other for a couple years. So what was the reason of you being at a Pomona Reptile Super Show?
So this year and the end of last year, I've been very lucky to pull some really big sponsors, and
Yeah.
one of them is Chewy. So Chewy reached out to me. It was the guy who reached out to me. He wasn't even hired yet, actually. So I mean, I've been there for longer than this guy's been there. Almost it seems like, but
Wow.
yeah, like that whole crew there is awesome, and they really want to make a splash in the reptile industry, and they're one of the title sponsors for NARBC now and the whole thing. So they're like, hey, do you want to come and do a bunch of shows? And one of them was Pomona. And I said, yes. And then the VP was at that show. And I don't know if it was like, I don't think he knew what to expect. But then we're at this table, we're at the front, and there was like quite a few people there that were like, hey, because they're all the same thing. I've never been out there. So they're
Yeah.
excited to meet me in front of the VP. And then he's like, oh, yeah, this guy needs to go to all the shows now. So now I go to most of the shows for Chewy. So I'm very lucky for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think they could have picked a better person, because I mean, I obviously linked up with you more than a couple times at shows already, and I see the kind of love you get. I see the true following you have, and dude, I can't help but to respect a real following like that, because numbers could look like something like they're not on social media. Like, how many people have kind of almost the same numbers as you, Adam, but that reach is not there. That like actual engagement, which I get it. Like, cool, you either did a reel or you did something to get all that, but like, how are you connecting to real people? And so, and I don't want to take that from anyone. If you have a big following on social media, that's fine. But like, when you have a reach like you do, when it comes to just going unannounced to something and people see you, which like I said, I saw this firsthand. It's very inspiring. Like, I love it.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head too. I think that I'm really lucky, first of all, to have the following that I have. But I think I cultivated it, even though it seems like it was really fast at the beginning. Now we're in our 7th year. I've been doing this for a little over 6 years
Wow.
to get this. Yeah, and so now we're closing in on 400,000 subscribers, which isn't crazy. But all
that in the reptile world, bro, that's not easy to do. It's so, I mean, you're not that sensational. You're not getting bit by shit. Like, you're not
right.
You're not doing the extra stuff. So to me, I look at that like that's fucking work. Like, that's not easy.
Well, and I think that the reason that it's work is because, like, and I'm not taking anything away from anyone who blew up with shorts, but with shorts, and like, that's great. And I could easily get, 1 million views here and there getting bit by stuff on shorts. The problem is, and I'll be perfectly blunt here, shorts don't pay money. I mean, I pay my mortgage and feed my family with YouTube, and you can only do that with long form videos, but long form videos don't blow you up the numbers as much. So you can see someone with 2 million subscribers, but they might not have a following because it might be people who just kind of saw them on their feed and then flicked up. Or I feel like my following is more people who, if they saw me in public, they'd be like, yo, that's the guy, like they want to like actually talk to me, and they feel like, when you listen to a podcast, how many people listen to you and feel like they probably know you, even though you have no idea who they are because they listen to you every week,
Yeah. And I don't have nowhere near the amount of subscribers as like, as like a big famous, like even like close to you, right? But the fact is that so many people come to listen, the actual listen, and it's all reptile related. So of course, if I go to a reptile show, that's the world that I'm in 24/7. Like, I put myself out there all the time. You know what I'm saying? But see, here's the thing too. This is why I like, having friends like you, Adam, because I try to break out of my whole little breeder little world and bubble that I stay in, which is good. But how far can you go with that? Like, if you just only focus on breeder people and like your friends that breed, and you're not really entertaining the outsiders who want to look in or even be in, like, that's, you know what I mean? So that's where you really kind of grasp the growth, I feel like, and there's multiple, and then you can only go so far with that too, right, Adam? Like, the world that we're in isn't that big. Like, you have a lot of doors to open up to, but you have to go after it,
Well, and I think that a lot of people who have bigger audiences expand. Like, if you look at the guys who are the people who are on the top of the mountain, Barczyk's channel is still up there, right? And Jay Brewer's up there, Emily and Ed. And I think that with those guys, they all transcend not just reptiles, but like, it's out there, right? Everybody, like, Jay has a show on Roku. Emily is like the most personable human being. She's got people who have nothing to do with snakes that love her. And then guys like Clint isn't even really doing much reptile content anymore. He's doing more like scientist reacts to the history of evolution, because he paid for this education, and now he's making that education work for him, and he's using his title, the letters behind his name or whatever, in order to get clicks. But then when you click on it, he actually knows what he's talking about, and now he's talking about things that aren't reptiles, and that's bringing people into the reptile world because he also talks about them. So I love what those guys do. With they're not preaching to the choir, they're cultivating a new audience, and if those people get a new audience, that means that you and I and everybody else who's smaller pops up on the watch next, and we're getting views too.
And that's what makes what we do really hard, right, Adam? Because if you don't know when to pivot or to start, like, you know, making that next move of evolving, like you become stagnant, and your views become stagnant. And then with YouTube nowadays, man, you see so many channels that have million subscribers, and they once were fucking averaging 50, 60, 70,000 views. And then you saw them putting out stuff maybe once a month with like 20,000 views. And then their most recent stuff, 1,000 views. And it's like, dude, YouTube punishes your ass if you think this is like, let me just post whenever I want type of thing. Like, it doesn't work like that, man. Like, there's ways around it, and it's no joke. Like, it's a whole ass job for sure.
Well, it's a business, and because I'm sure you get asked this all the time too, but I'll say 20 times a week, hey man, I'm starting a channel, do you have any advice? And the main thing that I hammer is whatever your schedule is, if it's like Saturdays and Thursdays, whatever, don't miss videos ever. For like, I don't care if you've got COVID, if your mom's, aunts, uncles just die, I don't care. Just like get your videos out, even if you have to get them early and then schedule them, because the algorithm is what you're trying to impress, and it will punish you if you're not consistent.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the you started. I remember last time you were on the show, we talked about the history channel that you started. It was like a kind of like just like a side channel. As far as what you're doing, but it had to do with history stuff. How'd that work out? And are you still following up with that YouTube channel? And like, I'm just curious how it was trying to delegate another YouTube channel on top of everything you do with the main one.
Yeah, so I did it for 10 months, and I really liked doing it. The problem was, like, it's not free to do this. And I had an editor and a thumbnail guy, and it was costing me about $900 a month to run the channel. I wasn't making any money. And I'm sure if I kept going, I would have. Yeah. But, like, I have a family, and, like, I just couldn't do it. It felt more like a hobby than a business. And as soon as it felt like that, I was like, okay, I'll step away. So now I'm regrouping, and I'm launching another channel in February of this year was the plan. But anyway, we're getting to it. And I think that channel will take off a little bit better and have more transition between WWR and this new channel.
A lot's changed in your life in the last year and a half. I mean, okay, you got married. Shout out to Trish, your wife's in the chats, very supportive. Love stuff like that. Love, that she's always here for you whenever you're on Trap Talk. But you got married to Trish a little over a year ago, right?
August last year, so just under a year ago. And
then you have a 7-month-old boy.
Yeah, so we have a 7-month-old, and then I've got 2 stepkids too, 3 and 5. So yeah, I went from like this single dude, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, and here's your family, by the way.
Dude,
wow. So I grew up real quick.
Yeah. So what's that been like? Let's talk about how that this chapter's been so far. It
was a transition. I think I've always done things very quickly. Like I look at when I go house shopping, I look at one house and I buy that house. I bought a vehicle 2 days ago. I have to go pick it up tomorrow. Okay, like I just do things if I want to do them. So I met this woman, and I'm like, okay, yeah, she looks like she'd do real good mothering my kids. And also she's 6 feet tall, so my kids have like a chance of being not a midget. So I'm like, this is the one. So I picked, there's like a million. I love her. She's awesome. But anyway, you get the point. I'm like, hey, this is the one. Perfect. All right, great. And then I just kind of like, all right, let's get this. And then in January, the year before last, she's like, by the way, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I guess we should move in and we should get married and stuff. And then we did all that, and everything worked out really good.
Damn. And also she also is into the reptiles, right? Or did she just kind of like grow along with you? I mean, I can't remember if she already had reptiles before she met you, or she didn't.
So no, she did. She had like a few. She had like crested gecko and a crested gecko, a leopard gecko, some basic stuff like that, and then like a tree frog. So she was into reptiles for sure. So when she moved in, and I think it was kind of like this, oh, this is sick. Now I have all these reptiles just like immediately. And I got rid of my zookeeper, and she moved on. So now Trish is taking care of basically everything.
And remind me, I mean, are you because I remember you were almost in a downstairs type setup like
Mhm.
almost like a basement, right? Or are you still in the same place or no?
Yeah, so same place as before. So this is I've got several rooms, but this is like the big room. It's like 400
Okay.
square feet or something, and then I've got more like a breeder area room and the other room, and then we got a couple quarantine rooms, and every room in my house except for my bedroom and the kids' bedroom has reptiles in it. It seems like.
And I'm curious, how's that growing on them? Like, do they like being around the reptiles, like your 3 and 5-year-old, or how?
Yeah, yeah, they like them, and you know, they like to handle them and stuff, and they're not afraid of them, which is nice. Because like if I was 3 or 5 and someone handed me a ball python and I'd never seen one before, I'd probably be like, ah, you know, like kind of
Yeah,
nervous.
yeah.
But they've grown up like her snake fettuccine, like a normal ball python. So, and I show them stuff around here, and then they know the names, which is adorable. Like the 3-year-old has like the cutest little voice. Oh, that's Doug, and like he knows all the names of the animals, which is super cool. And then like Jack, the older one, will come up to me and be like, "Did you know that iguanas eat lettuce and berries?" And I'm like, "That's so cool." Yes, I did know that, but I'm glad you know that too.
And then weren't you trying to set up some stuff outside, like some outdoor enclosures? I could have sworn you were trying to do that or something like that.
Yeah, so I live in like the Niagara region, right? So like imagine Niagara Falls. It's like very humid and very hot here in the summer.
Mm,
So we have like the perfect area for I've got redfoot tortoises out there or cherry heads, whatever, same thing, and
yeah.
then a green iguana. And I have them in the enclosure is like 12 by 8 by 6 or it's like 2,700 gallons. It's huge. So I have that outside, and they've been outside. We took them in today because it was a little bit cool, but they're usually outside from the middle of May until the beginning of October.
Remind me again, like, because when you initially became somebody in the reptile hobby, you were just known as being somebody who admires keeping them. Like you weren't really. I mean, remember your videos were more about like husbandry and like the best type of pets and maybe what isn't the best type of pet, but you never really advertised that you were a breeder, right?
Not really. And I think I got it out of my system before I started the channel because in like 2016, 2017, I had a ball python breeding group. And it was like, I mean, I was doing pastel pinstripes, like nothing crazy, you know, like very basic stuff.
Yeah.
And then I just got overwhelmed and I got rid of all of my ball pythons and I was down to like 4 or 5 reptiles. And then I almost sold them in 2019. I almost got out of the hobby completely. And then I lost my job. And then a comedian, it's like I'm a stand-up comedian, so a guy that I do a lot of work for, he's like, "Hey man, you should start a channel. You got, you know, shit all to do. Just start a channel." So I did. And then I'm like, I'll give it a year. And then I wasn't really doing much breeding because almost all my animals were gone. And then
Right.
once I got back into it, then I started to kind of breed things again. I never really stopped with hognose and leopard geckos, but everything else I kind of got out of.
That's crazy. So somebody non-reptile related advised you to start a YouTube channel, and you started it with the reptiles.
Yeah, he's a fish keeper, so he kind of like knows a little bit about like pets and stuff. But
Did
he just kind of
did he tell you reptiles, or he just said just do YouTube? Like, what was he telling you should do?
well, basically what he said is he's like, you got this giant mouth that you just never shut, so you should use it to make money. Well, because like, dude, I went from one crappy job to another crappy job. Like I had this great career, and then it didn't work, and then I was like in a kind of a funk for work. So then he's like, "Hey man, just try this. Like if it works, it doesn't work, whatever." But I tried channels before that. I had a comedy channel before that, and then I had a whiskey channel before that, and they never worked. So I'm like, I think they're not working because I'm not putting enough effort, and I didn't try long enough. So that's why I said, okay, listen, I'm going to try really hard for a year, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But I think at the end of the first year, at 8,000 subscribers, and then I had one video like kind of take off, like for me at the time, take off, and then COVID happened, and that was the best thing for my channel and a lot of channels.
Yeah, COVID. I mean, that's, obviously COVID was fucked up for people on some end of things, but then there were some other things like reptile hobby blew up in COVID. YouTube for sure, like YouTubers in general blew up. I mean, I think social media content creators in general blew the fuck up in COVID, because that's when, I remember that's when TikTok was paying decent, remember, like there's like, that's when they started rolling out like income, like it was fucking really good money in the beginning, wasn't it, Adam?
Well, yeah, and well, so I'm Canadian, so it didn't affect me. There was no creator fund for Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat, by the way. So I've never made $1 on any of those platforms. But yes,
really,
in the state, $0, unless I'm like, so Palm Street pays me to do stuff on Instagram, which is great. So I have a sponsor for Instagram, and so does Chewy. But in terms of like how like ad revenue or whatever, I've never. But I think that during COVID, like the amount of my friends who are comedians, very good comedians, but they just weren't going anywhere because they weren't going anywhere. And then they started doing sketches on TikTok. And then now some of them are doing stuff with Drake. They're all living in the States. Like I'm telling you, like a dozen of my Canadian comedian friends are now like, one of them did Rogan 2 years ago. So that they blew up, and they've always had the talent, but in Canada, it's so hard to get discovered. But then all of a sudden they blew up on TikTok because they had all the time in the world to make the content. So I think COVID sucked, obviously, but it was fantastic for a lot of content creators.
I don't know why, but I could just so see you on Kill Tony, like just walking up on stage. Like I don't know how you would do. Even though I feel like you would be funny. I've never seen your stand up, but I could just see you rolling up on Kill Tony on the mic and just doing like a cool 60 seconds or something like that.
I bet you I've had 20 friends do Kill Tony, and it's like very hit and miss. But
So
I would love to do it. I would love to do it. Like I've only been to Texas once, and I went to Dallas. It was like pretty far from Austin. But if ever I were to do something like San Antonio or somewhere even close, I would definitely go to Austin and give it a try. Like go to the bar across the street, sign up, and see what happens. And if nothing happened, like if I don't get called, who cares? Like that'd be a cool experience.
I mean, I just like the fact that like nobody's safe on that show. Like not even Tony himself is safe. Like I've seen his own band fucking just tear him apart. You know what I mean? And so I like that the dynamics, like fucking anyone could get it. Like don't, you know what I mean? And
that's real comedy. Like that's true
comedy,
comedy right there. Yeah, because it's that like as a comedian, when you're in the green room or you're out for drinks after, it is just constant shit talking. That's all it is. Like there is not one short joke or ugly bald guy joke that I've not heard 100 times. So it's my favorite thing in the world to do. Like comedy is the best thing ever. But that's true comedy, and most people don't get to see that.
I might be stepping out of boundaries here, but whatever. I'll figure it out. Are you going to Tinley in October?
Yes, that's the plan, is to go to Tinley in October.
So last Tinley, Kabelka and his crew, Clutch and all them, they went to a comedy show. They went to a comedy place, and they want to go back. And they're like, MJ, you have to come. Do you want to come with me? Do you want to go to this comedy place?
Yeah, man, that'd be fun.
In a rough neighborhood, but they said it's fucking awesome. And it's worth it. So.
A rough neighborhood in Chicago? No way.
Please
interesting. Yeah, please do tell me more about this. Yeah, no,
all right, cool. All right,
yeah, shots fired. No, I'm just kidding. Yes.
I saw a meme not too long ago. Like it was like, "Oh, how was your trip to Chicago?" And it's like, it's a guy in a gorilla suit with a machine gun.
Someone told me that they're excited to go to Animal Con this year because it's in Chicago and they have good ventilation than the humans there. And I realized after what they were trying to talk about, I'm like, I don't know, dude. That's
okay. What's the deal with Animal Con? I don't know what's happening. I thought it was at Michigan, at Legacy. What's the update? What's happening with Animal Con?
So, and I'm speaking from like just the Instagram post and then hearing chatter, but pretty good source chatter. So from what I understand is it's going to be in July and it's going to be at the Legacy. But there's still no date out, and July's in 2 months. And I know for sure that it's not going to be the 19th, the weekend of the 19th, because that's Retic Fest. And I know that somebody asked about that. So I know it's not going to be then. So it's going to be either the 4th of July weekend or the next weekend or the very end. So like, I don't know what it's going to be, but my thing is it's not going to be truly Animal Con in the way that it was, because there's no resort, there's nowhere to hold all those people, and there's nothing even close to the Legacy. And by the way, I'm not shitting on it. I think it's awesome. I love Lori and the whole crew. I'm going no matter what. But I don't know how they're going to do it. And the fact that there's no date yet and it's only 2 months away is kind of like, I wonder if they're going to move it. I don't actually know. I have no idea. I'm
just so happy that they got this far with the Legacy that I'm like, Animal Con still, like, I mean, which I think, you know, that's what Brian would want. Like, Animal Con needs to continue, but fuck, dude, that's so much on their plate, dude. Like, oh man, my heart just goes out to Lori and that whole crew, bro. They're doing so much, and so.
Imagine too, like Lori just took over the channel too, because you know, like this is kind of new for her, and she's doing an amazing job. I actually did a video. The video that's coming out next week is the top 5 reasons to stop watching Brian Barczyk. Of course, it's like a satire, and like I love Brian. It's all like reasons to watch. But the whole point at the end of the video is like, Lori, I don't know that you could take anybody else's wife and be like, here, take the channel of the most popular guy in the whole world, and then continue to make excellent videos. Like, I know they have a great crew and Jay Tomsky and all those guys, but still, I don't think that anyone could have done what Lori did. But then you have that, and then you have the opening of this giant project, and then you have Animal Con. Like, I understand why they didn't do it in Florida. I understand it would be way too much, but they still did it. And even if it's not going to be the same, who cares? The point is they like, I don't know. I think it's fantastic what those people are doing.
I do too. It's just like Brian really left like a piece of him, if not all of them, in Lori when he left, you know, because now she's nonstop. Like that's what Brian was. Brian, you know, you if you go like when I met Lori and Brian, it was Lori looking at Brian like this guy is fucking he's an animal. He doesn't stop. And now Lori's that animal. Even though she was before, she just did what she did, but now she does everything. And I don't think the only reason why it's going the way it's going because Lori knew Brian that well. Like nobody was closer to Brian than Lori was. You know what I'm saying? So she knows how he is.
But like, you know how like you and I, we like doing this and like we're very outgoing and we like to run our mouth. It seemed like Lori was more behind the scenes before, and then now it's all of a sudden like, okay, now have a big personality. Like the fact that she became such a good presenter so quickly is amazing.
Yeah, and it sucks. I mean, you know, I don't want to get too deep on this, but you know, Noah, like Noah was like given that torch when really Noah never really wanted that. Like he supported everything his dad did, but like being that main character, like that main person 24/7 all the time, dude, like it's a lot of pressure, man. You know what I mean? And so I just know obviously Brian leaving was a huge shock, but like I just can't stop but to like think about the Barczyks, like, you know, Lori, her 2 kids, and then her grandkids and stuff like that. And you know, that's why I don't know, man. Like we all have a day, right? We all have some day when we're gonna exit out of here. It just sucks when it's somebody that close to you. Like, you know, somebody that close, like, you know, and you know, I love what we do so much, Adam, because of the people. Like, you know, if anything were to happen to either one of us or some shit like that would affect so much of what we do. And then life just continues. Like sometimes I forget like Barczyk's gone until I go put Barczyk's channel on. I'm like, fuck, like, dude, life is just nuts, Adam. Like it's crazy.
Well, it's crazy too, because like, so I was saying before, the amount of people that listen to you and feel like they know you in the same way that if I ever walked up to Joe Rogan, I'd feel like I know the guy, but he has no idea who I am because I've listened to 1,000 of his episodes, right? Yeah. Well, it's the same thing when now that person that you feel like you know, you're so close to because you've heard them talk for so long is gone. So it feels like as if a death of your friend because you feel like you're so close to that person. So that guy going was such a shot to so many people. Like he left a hole in so many people when he left. He's very missed for sure. And that's like you said, like it's crazy to think that he's gone. It still feels like I could text him and be like, hey, you know that Spanish channel that you do, like how do you, and then you're still gonna get a text back.
And we can't ignore how many people Barczyk brought together. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why you and I even connected because of Animal Con, the very first Animal Con. And I knew who you were, but you know, back then I always had a chip on my shoulder and I didn't really want to meet new people and I was kind of like fuck people in a sense. But then because of Barczyk and because I saw how he was, it made me, and also like when I meet somebody, it's a lot different than knowing them social media wise. Like I could only like become friends with someone that deep on social media without actually physically seeing them. And I feel like once we meet, then it's like cool. Like, you know, and I feel like that's what it was for us. But like, think about all the people Barczyk brought together, like that made relationships and, you know, became partners in some aspects of things. Like, you know, that's one thing I always, you know, I want to have that impact someday, Adam, is like bring people together that make all this worth doing, you know, and pushing it further.
Well, I think he advanced the hobby, and then even if he didn't advance the hobby directly, he advanced the hobby through other people advancing it. Like, there's no way in the world I would have started a YouTube channel if it wasn't for Brian. Like, that is the guy. Like, everyone says, oh, well, you know, you took your top five idea from this guy or this guy. Like, no, I stole that from Brian. Like, I will tell you full out, Brian was doing top five in like 2008, 2009. That I was trying to emulate him. All the videos and the transitions that he was doing. I looked at the channels where he learned how to edit, and then I watched those channels. So Brian influenced me not just in reptile keeping and keeping certain types of reptiles and taught me how to breed ball pythons long before I had a channel, but then he influenced how I started the channel and then what type of content that I did.
So this is where I'm at with things, Adam, and hopefully you can help me with this. Just like give me your advice on it, because you know, I loved Animal Con, but I'll never forget the first Animal Con I went to. Even though I've only been to one, but I felt very uneasy because, you know, I'm very outspoken on this podcast, right? And I always have been, especially back then. I didn't give a fuck. I just let it all out. And there is a lot of creators there I just could care less for. Like I either been to their facility or I just seen something where I'm just like, dude, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like I have my beliefs, you know? And so, and Barczyk knew how I felt about this, and he still put him on the docket, like because he wanted him there. Like, let's say we were throwing a show, right? Let's say we were throwing our own Animal Con at him, and we were sitting down, and you presented a list of people that you wanted an Animal Con. And if I was like, well, dude, this person is probably one of the biggest fucking reptile neglectors we have on the list. Should we have him there? What would we do? Like, what would be the right decision? Even though they have millions of followers and they're on TikTok, they're famous in Hollywood, but like, what do we do? Like, how do we agree on that, Adam? I'm curious. And what should I do? Like, let's say I want to throw my own Animal Con someday and I want the best creators, but then we know, even though this creator has shit ton of numbers, he's actually a fucking terrible reptile keeper. Like, what do we, I don't know how to act on that. I know how I want to act, but I feel like Brian's vision was so much bigger than it being personable and like having like, you know, I don't know how to cross that bridge, dude. I don't.
Well, I think Brian also was very, you know, some people hold grudges and then they write people off. Brian was not like that. Like we had a conversation about somebody who crossed him once, and all they have to do is say sorry and he's invited to everything else. And then that person was at everything else. So I imagine they made up. Like Brian is very much was that guy where if you can make amends, he didn't write you off. So I think it just depends on the personality. And if it's, in my opinion, we're probably aligned on this, if it was somebody that I thought of as an animal neglector, then I wouldn't invite that person. And I think it's just, I can't say what Brian were to do, but somebody in his shoes would probably be thinking, well, that person is going to sell a lot of tickets and bring in a lot of money. So it just depends on how much ticket sales matter for you too. So I think there's a lot of factors. Personally, me, I wouldn't invite somebody who, if I didn't agree with the way that, or not agree, but if I thought the way they were keeping reptiles was straight out abuse, I definitely wouldn't invite that person.
And listen, I understand, like, these are people that I mentioned to Barczyk that he's known for like 30 years. Like, it's like they've had a history together. And I know there's a era of reptile keeping where they only knew what they knew. There was really nobody teaching anybody anything at one point, right? But like we all have to get better. And one thing I loved about Barczyk is how he became this fucking sensational YouTuber showing all the racks to fucking cashing in all the racks and having a fucking reptile zoo. And then he evolved. And then also like, and mind you, like, I know how fucking much work it is to run the Reptarium. And so, and when I first went on my way to the Reptarium, in my head, I was like, dude, like, don't expect this to be like a perfect fucking place. Like, you know, based off what you've seen before, it might have this, it might have that. Dude, it blew me out of the water. It was like, it was immaculate. Like, everything was fucking like perfect. Couldn't believe it. And I only know it's because it's a well-oiled machine and it doesn't stop. And that's, until this day, dude, it's still, I haven't been there in 2 years. I need to, I'm overdue, but I'm just telling you, I'm blown away when I saw it.
What Brian used to say to people, and he did this to me, so I can attest, I'll give you a key, go around to any enclosure, find me a dead or sick animal or one mite on a snake. And if you do, I will sign over the deed to this property. You can have the property and the business. Go ahead, go look all day. He gave me a key, and I looked around, and that was I kind of was thinking the same thing. I'm like, okay, well, they do it for the camera. How showy is it going to be? And then like, they were expecting me, but they opened the doors right before I got there. They weren't like getting ready for me. And not only that, but I wasn't expecting Brian to spend an entire day with me. I thought he was going to film with me for 2 hours and then go on with his other million things. So yeah, there's very few people on earth that I've met who are as genuine as Brian Barczyk.
And Brian liked you a lot. That's another reason why I was like, okay, I got to get cool with this Adam guy, because I never, after the first Animal Con, he gave me feedback on how great you and I did. He was like, dude, you and Adam you guys are made for this shit. Like, and that's one thing Brian like kind of grew to, are people who had personalities. No, nothing against the average reptile keeper, but personality, like some people they have a struggle like being themselves and just like, you know, like, stop being so scripted. Like, just do your thing. We do our thing and we get away with it. You know what I mean? But Barczyk fucking loved you, man. I've told you this before, but he really, really rocked with you, which again brought me to get closer to you and whatnot.
Well, I think too with Brian, like I understood that what he did with that whole Animal Con was he brought in a bunch of people who could then meet each other and then be featured in bigger videos. And it was selfless for him because he wasn't really getting much out of it. Like maybe he got a little bit of money from like the ticket sales and putting it on, but I bet you not very much. So what he did, I think, was for the community and not for him. So then when he said to me, "Hey, Adam, this person's not here. Can you do this panel? Can you do this panel? Can you?" And I said yes to every one of them. I think he was like, "Oh, okay." So it's like a back and forth. Like he realized like, oh, he's got my back too. So I think that's why it resonated so well with him, not just because like I was good at doing the panels or whatever. It was just I was willing to do the panels when he needed somebody. And I was happy to do it because, hey man, if you're happy to put this thing on, I'll be happy to help you out and make the thing run smooth.
And again, man, like I think Animal Con was a place to bring people together that would have never even met if it wasn't for this event. I mean, straight up, there's no way I would have met half the creators I met there if it wasn't for Animal Con. We're just not the same. We don't do the same stuff. Like, and mind you, a lot of these creators, they don't go to reptile shows. Like they just fucking create YouTubes and show people how to keep pets. And that's cool. But not a lot of people are tapped into the whole show circuit. And because the show circuit, for the most part, like Tinley's and all the NARBCs, the reptile super shows, those are for the reptile like breeders and like, you know, and yeah, we get the pet people who are visiting the shows randomly and whatnot, but like the ones who are actually building big followings, they all don't go to these reptile shows. You know, some of them do, but not all of them. You know, and you go to Animal Con and you see them all there.
Well, I think the big draw was Brian too, and Brian was reaching out to people directly to ask them to go. So, you know, there was people who, even people from like, so Petco, how can I remember his first name but not his channel? Dark Den. So he's from somewhere in Europe. So he came because Brian reached out and asked. Poor Scalante was there because Brian reached out and asked, and so he's bringing in people who are from like who would never go to a Tinley or something like that because he was charismatic and everybody liked him, and he brought them with everybody else. We all got, like you said, we all get to meet each other because of him. Like there's no other event that would have brought people together like that.
I mean, the one thing I'm not, and like I said, I love Lori, she's doing a lot, but one thing that I don't know how anyone could replace this part of Barczyk was the connections, like the connections he had. Like he was connected with so many people, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like people on the Hollywood side of things, and just like, and he was good at meeting new people. Like he knew how to find that next fucking plug to whatever it is. Like, you know, getting on the Theo Vaughn show. What the fuck? Like
Mr. Beast. He was doing videos with Mr. Beast, dude.
You know, yeah, Mr. Beast, bro. Like, oh, like, you know, I feel like, man, like that's gonna be the hard fucking shoes to fill, is that part of things, you know?
Yeah, I don't think anyone can do it. And I don't think she's really trying either. I think that she's just trying to like pick up the pieces and take it in whatever direction that feels right for her while keeping genuine. And I think that a great thing, although it's so much work, is now she's got this new venue and now she is the face of it. And of course, Brian's always going to be the face of it. It is the legacy aquarium for his legacy and the whole thing, but she's the presenter now. And I think she took the ball and she's running with it. And I don't think you could have asked for a better job. I'm really excited to go to Legacy. I haven't been yet. It's only 4 hours for me. So I asked if I could go, and I said, Lori, hey, do you think I could film if I show up next week, like when it opened? And she was just straight up. She's like, hey, look, you know, we're still getting used to everything. You can, but I can't promise we're going to be able to bring out animals. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll let you guys settle in. I'll see you guys in July. I wouldn't miss it. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. Can't wait. I'm going to. It's going to be epic. That's why I was trying to figure out a date, because I want to bring Leo, I want to bring my wife. That would be something I'd bring the whole family to. Just because
I'm bringing, my wife and the youngest for sure. We're going,
because I just feel like it's necessary. Like it's a special. Me going back there is going to hit different. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll see. Either way, I'm so happy. Like I've always been on top of the vlogs, even with Brian passing away. Even though some days have been hard, but I have it fucking that bell reminded. So every morning that vlog hits, I'm watching it. And I want to say shout out to Jay, shout out to Boat Jay, shout out to the entire crew over there. But yeah, Legacy's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait. Whenever we find a date, I'll be there. And then there's a Retic Fest that I don't know if you do much with Garrett, but I love that dude. I love that dude.
No, dude, unfortunately, I mean, I have nothing against Garrick, but just for Tix and I, like that boat has sailed like so far out into the distance. I just don't like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I like what I like now. That's it. That's all I got to say.
I don't really like reticulated pythons either. I tried. I had 5 of them. I made this cool. I got rid of them all. I'm not interested at all. I just go because I love Garrett. Like that's it. I brought in 30 house snakes from Garrett recently, and then Garrett and I talked about it earlier today, and he's like, "Hey, man, this is what we should do." So we kind of have a plan of how to move them and bring in new stuff to Canada. And anyway, I'm excited about the future of house snakes. Is like my new thing, so I'm excited to get that going.
I'm gonna tip my hat to Garrett on the house snakes, because when I did go to his place not years, but like, what was it, like 3 years ago? I flew over to his place when he just got that new building and was setting it all up and whatnot. And it wasn't
That's 4 years, bro. 4 years ago. Can you believe that?
God damn, 4 years ago. Yeah. So it wasn't even completely done. Like, he was taking me upstairs, what he wanted to do. But then he showed me a whole fucking rack full of these house snakes. And I remember seeing their faces. I'm like, dude, they have little Burmese python faces. Like, I'm like, that's the fucking cutest thing in the world. And so he's like, yeah, these are going to be hot in the next few years. And yeah, they're getting hot for sure. I keep hearing them more and more and more. And they're such a cool, easy, fun snake to keep. Like, that's a great, like, all right, you have a little bit of fear of snakes, but you maybe want to keep one. Like, dude, those house snakes are perfect, I think.
I think so too. And there's so many new morphs that are coming out too. And I think that Garrett's the right ambassador for them.
Right.
So I'm hoping to do the same thing in Canada, because we didn't really have that species of house snake here. So I'm working closely with him. But yeah, I can't wait to get that project going.
So I tried my best with this title, because I was trying to do like what you're good at, like, you know, like making it seem like, oh shit, like, what are they going to talk about? But it's really not. But
yeah,
in a sense, yeah. Well, I'm gonna fucking lay it all out for people. So obviously, there's things happening in the hobby where people are almost expected not to talk to certain people because of the affiliations and stuff like that. Like, you know, for instance, like you did some stuff with MorphMarket, no longer work with MorphMarket. I work with MorphMarket, but then now you are doing stuff with Chewy and Palm Street, and other companies are pushing narratives like that Palm Street and Chewy are here to take out MorphMarket, and that you have an agenda against MorphMarket, and that you don't fuck with me. And I'm like, what? And so I love it when people just want to take shit like this and run with it. But, you know, it's also something that in this hobby, unfortunately, people don't like looking for the truth. They'll just hear what they hear and they go, okay, that's not the truth. And they run with it, you know. But I know one thing about you and I, Adam, like, dude, we don't let anything get in the way with as far as like how we think of each other. But also, like, how do we prevent these lines in the hobby that are created through like fake narratives and like, you know, pushes on for whatever reason? Like, I don't know why people do this shit, but it happens, right? And so, and it's happening right now. And so you and I, obviously, how do we prevent this stuff for our own people and our own keepers coming in at a new stage, you know, where they don't have to feel like they politically need to choose something, you know?
I think it's honestly, man, I think it's just recreational outrage. I don't think there's even a real thing. Like, there's guys like Cusco, who's sponsored by MorphMarket and Redline. Like, Redline's. Okay. So I didn't realize that it wasn't. Okay, well, I take that back. I guess I don't know what's going on, but
he was for a while. He was sponsored by MorphMarket and Redline, and both of them. Yeah, he was for a while.
So I mean, it's like, even if you're. So that's one guy sponsored by both companies who are competing against each other. So like a guy like you, and I don't even think that MorphMarket and Palm Street like have a thing. I think that's just other people talking. Like, I work pretty closely with Palm Street. I've never even heard them mention MorphMarket ever. Not only that, but those guys are super nice. And I think it's a different thing. And by the way, I don't hate MorphMarket. I will be very clear, but I did not like the way that I was let go at all. I think it was very unprofessional. But as far as the platform, I think that Darian's done a fantastic job making it what it is. I think he's done a great job since he bought it. I think it's a great place to buy animals. I just personally think that Palm Street is more fun, and I think that is the direction that we're going, where people have short attention spans and it's flashy, and in the same way that TikTok took over everybody's mind, I think Palm Street does the same thing, where it's like very quick, and it's also kind of like not impulse, but hey, there's 3 minutes on the clock. Are you going to buy it or not? It's just like every other auction. eBay has been doing this for 30 years almost, right? Yeah. So I just think that Palm Street is the future, and that's it. But I don't think that there's any, like, you know, MorphMarket versus Palm Street. I think that's more people talking about it than people who are actually involved disliking each other.
And I think, you know, listen, at the end of the day, I know Palm Street is good for a lot of certain things. Again, I know they sell plants. I know the gecko people do really well. And my only thing where I was coming from, and Bob Vu and other people, just like when it comes to ball pythons and snakes, it's not a good place. It's not it's as far as like keeping a project sustainable and keeping it up. Once you go to Palm Street, you are now turning in the keys on that project, and it's gone in the wind. You know what I'm saying? But it's also a good place for, I don't know, many other things, I guess. I just know
House snakes. So like Garrett is crushing it with house snakes, like crushing it. Like he can't keep those things in stock. So my analogy that I've been using is, I think you remember in 2006 when Facebook was a thing, sort of, kind of, but everyone was using MySpace, and everyone's like, this is the way it's going to be. And then Facebook just out of nowhere, that's Palm Street. Palm Street is Facebook in 2006. And I'm not saying that MorphMarket is MySpace. I'm not saying they're going away. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think Palm Street is in its infancy right now. And this is a tried and true thing. If you go over to Asia, live auction like this online is huge and has been. And they're just bringing something that works in a different continent over to the States. And maybe it'll never work with, or maybe it won't work with ball pythons and high-end morphs and stuff. Maybe that will always be a market thing instead. But for things like house snakes or geckos, those things but skinks are doing really good. I think that's going to be a Palm Street thing for sure.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I meant by that. Like there might be certain demographics of the reptile world that just isn't meant for Palm Streets, but there are other stuff that's proven to do really well. And I know the gecko community, like my tonight's sponsor, Brian Susan, does really well on Palm Street with a lot of his stuff. And you know, like I said, if that works for you, I'm happy for you. It's awesome. You know, but one thing I do love about life are the options that we have. Like we have options, you know what I mean? And it's whatever fits your need most, you know?
Yeah, well, and I think the thing, like, imagine like a reptile expo. Most people aren't going to a reptile expo to buy a Boland's python, right? Or like a high-end ball python. They're talking to the breeder directly through their marketplace, if it's MorphMarket or their own website for that. But I think Palm Street, at least right now, is more like more attainable things. And right now it's kind of like lower, not huge breeders, and also people who actually are looking just for pets. So, but that's just now. I think that it's going to evolve. But either way, I mean, I'm smitten with Palm Street. I think they're awesome.
Yeah, I will say though, and I'm gonna keep it real. You put a video out like how, would you say like you could get a free reptile or something like that? What did you say about something about Palm Street? Like you never have to pay for an expensive snake ever again or something like that. Well, remind the title.
Yeah, so I think the title was I never pay full price for reptiles and you don't either. And it was just like a clickbait title, catchy title. And the whole idea was, hey, if you're looking to get, you know, really good animals at a really good price, an auction for anything, if you're buying a vehicle or anything else, an auction's a good place to buy it. Well, it's the same thing, you know, with crested geckos or whatever. And I know there was a certain somebody who took that very personally and then posted something for 12 minutes on Facebook and then took it down. But that's not what I'm trying to say here. I wasn't trying to like say like, oh, don't respect breeders or anything like that. This is YouTube, bro. Like this is how YouTube works. You make a crazy inflammatory title and then you reel it in the video. So
it got me. I'll tell you that much because I didn't know shit about Palm Street until I watched your video, and I was like, "What?" So it works. It works every time. I'm telling you, it does. I'm not gonna lie.
Man, the amount of people I've seen, they comment something as they're starting to play the video, and then they watch the video, and then that comment disappears. They're like, okay, you know, for real, so many times.
I've done, not on your channel, but I've done that for sure. Where I'm like, oh fuck, my bad.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know, a lot of my video titles are a little bit inflammatory, and then I always do like these. So yesterday's video was leopard geckos suck, don't buy leopard geckos. It's like, bro, you know I love leopard geckos. So then it was like I reeled them in and said they suck because their enclosures aren't too big. So you know, like stupid shit like that, you know?
Yeah. And someone already beat me to it in the comments. I knew they were gonna bring it up. So when I watched that video, you put it out, I was curious about Palm Street. And I was like, what is this? And so I looked into it, and then I was hearing obviously like people who are on the high end side of the breeder stuff, very against it. They're like, as far as not what it does, just for as far as for them to sell their animals, they're like, I would never do that because I want to keep my stuff shiny and like I'm a breeder, right? But then I was realizing like, okay, well, look at the gecko people, they're doing all right. And so I as I looked into it, and I need your complete honesty on this. So I guess Palm Street sponsored Paul Cuff. What's his name? Paul
Cuffaro,
right? It has a really big YouTube channel, does really well.
Huge.
Yeah. He did hopefully we can find G on the chats, but he did a YouTube channel where he took over someone's collection. And then that same weekend he flipped all those animals after buying them on Palm Street. And that, you know, obviously Like we don't know where these animals came from. Like the list of concerns just goes crazy when it comes to thinking of that, right? And he's a fucking big channel, and people were able to connect dots. So, what is your opinion of somebody not even quarantining an animal, Palm Street not knowing it, and they just fucking flip the animal and put a sick animal in someone's collection? And mind you, Palm Street also probably have a bunch of people who have no idea what the fuck quarantine is. They probably never heard of Nido. They probably never heard of fucking crypto. They're just like, oh my God, a $12 fucking gecko or a $12 snake. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? So what's your opinion on that? Like that, the risk when it comes to that side of what we're talking about?
I would say that I would bet my life there are more people doing that on MorphMarket than there are on Palm Street. So I think that it doesn't really matter. I think it's happening no matter what. The Cafaro thing, I don't know anything about. I know he did a 7-hour live. I know that. But I don't know what, I didn't watch it. I just saw his story after. Oh, bro, we did a 7-hour live. Let's go get beers. That's it. That's all I know about it. So if he did that and he flipped it, I mean, I personally don't like that. I don't like that. I think that you should quarantine animals and you know what you're doing and you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But with that said, every pet store in the freaking world does that. If you see, an animal that wasn't captive bred being sold at an expo or a pet store or on MorphMarket or anywhere else, it's the same thing. So I think that he just used.
I'm sorry, I don't remember. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. Yeah.
I was going to say, like, pet stores are not encouraged in the hobby. Like, I mean, if in my chats, right, like I have a Patreon group, over 300 people. If somebody were to say in the chats, hey guys, I see this ball python at this pet store, should I buy it? We would all immediately say, don't do that. No, don't buy from the pet stores. So we're very anti-pet store people in the the real hobbyists don't buy from the pet shops.
No, I agree. So
MorphMarket has a book of people banned for trying to sell something that either died in someone's collection, they didn't take care of it, or whatever. I mean, that's one thing MorphMarket is known for, is they'll fucking shut you down if you pull any of this shit. And people do talk. So
right. And I wasn't throwing shade at MorphMarket. All people are doing it. I'm just saying, like, they're doing it anyway. And even like, so for example, I was at the Dallas show. And I'm not going to say which table it was because I don't remember the business name. Everything on this guy's table was an import. Every freaking thing on his table was an import. I don't know how long he had it. Probably not for very long because he had collodies on there. And I know those don't last. So I think that I don't agree with it. I don't think that it's a Palm Street thing. I think that it's happening everywhere and people are going to do it. And it's on the responsibility of the people buying the animal to know to quarantine it. You should do research. But also, if that's what he did, and I'm not saying it is because I don't know, but I don't agree with that. I don't think it's a good idea. I personally wouldn't do that. I have a big import coming in the summer. Everything I have enclosures for to quarantine, even the stuff that I plan to sell, I'm not just flipping. I'm going to make sure I quarantine it and make sure it lives.
Yeah. And it reminds you, when you have a big following in the reptile world, you're going to be held to a standard. Like you're not going to be
100%.
You're not going to be able to pull some of the shit off that people could pull because either the lack of knowledge or I get it. Like, dude, I'm not going to say I never bought a snake fucking. I've never gotten a snake from a pet shop or I've never done, but it was because I just didn't know. You know what I mean? But obviously knowledge is power, and also I don't know 100,000% that this Paul dude did that. I just know perception's everything, and the timeline of how it looks really bad. It looks like he bought it one day and 2 days of vlog came out, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, and then the guy claimed to say, oh no, we bought it 2 weeks before. So I'm like, so you quarantined a whole collection in 2 weeks, buddy? Like that fucking, and then he disappeared after that. When I brought that up, it was like, we never heard from, or we're like, where's Gio? We never heard from him again. He was gone, and he's still gone to this day. So God bless. I'm just saying, I feel like, for instance, Adam, like, okay, let's say you did that. Look what happened to you, dude, when you fucking cohab leopard geckos. Okay, are you fucking kidding me? And by the way, I've seen sick, awesome enclosures with multiple leopard geckos having a good time. And dude, you got fucking dragged under the goddamn mud for that. Okay, wow. Bro. Like, so imagine if that collection, that import package that you're going to get in, what if you did a video saying, look, guys, I just got imports, and then you go on Palm Street and sell them? Like, how would that look, though? Like, period. It would look really bad, right, Adam? Like,
yeah, of course. No, I agree. And again, I don't know anything about it, but if that's what happened, yes, I agree. Then I don't like that either. But Yeah, I think that people also like recreational outrage. So it might be something like there might be an in between. So maybe he did it, maybe he didn't, but there might be an in between where people just because people like to jump on bandwagons to get mad at people. And I'm sure people are going to watch this and get mad at me for something I said too. You know, I see in the comment section here, oh, they're just trying to grab a piece of the market share. It's like, yeah. And if there's a billion enclosure companies and then you start an enclosure company and get them in from like you're trying to grab a piece of the market share too. There's nothing wrong with that. That the whole point of what capitalism is to compete. So I don't see the problem, but yes, I agree that people just like to get outraged about basically everything. Anything new comes as a threat to what people know. So I can't wait to see what the landscape looks like in like even 1 year, 1 or 2 years. I think it's going to be crazy.
And again, like it's exactly what you said is so true. Everything that could possibly happen on Palm Street could happen anywhere. So it's not like it's not really fair. But then again, when you're new and you're coming in, you got people looking at you with the magnifying glass. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be watching every move because they're going to expect more, you know? And then when you have big fucking faces on the, you know, people are going to just try to look for anything. And so, and not that I was looking, I'm just saying that was presented to me and I was like, that's wild. And you know me, you give me something like that, I'm talking about it for sure. 110%. That's what I do. But yeah, dude, I don't know. Listen, I just know, you and I are friends, and that's what
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, is I think that you know, people just like to get mad. People really like drama, and that's why I have dramatic titles in the videos. But then my videos aren't ever dramatic, you know. Like I did kind of go on a tangent in yesterday's video, or what? Today's Thursday, so it's today. In today's video that came out earlier today, I talk in depth about the whole leopard gecko thing and why we think that they're solitary. And they're not. Like if you talk, I was talking to a guy from Pakistan at Toronto Reptile Expo. He's from Pakistan, used to do renovations on people's houses. And he would say, look, you'd rip up floorboards and there'd be 20 leopard geckos all living together in someone's subfloor. So like the whole idea that they live apart in the wild. And then everyone, my favorite thing is, yeah, but they can get away from each other in the wild and they'll just run and skirt. Like, no, they won't, because there's freaking predators out there, dude. Like, no, they don't just run wild. Like anyway, so the whole thing to me is like people don't actually know. I went in depth in it in today's video. I don't want to go into it again, but people think they know, and it just people have been indoctrinated. Like for example, garter snakes. Why is it okay to keep garter snakes together? Why? Wow. Because they're new, and people. So 10 years ago, when they became popular, it was this is how they're kept together. Scorpion geckos, Stenodactylus, house snakes. The reason that we know it's okay to keep these together and no one blows their lid is because it's a new thing and we haven't been told since the 70s or 80s or 90s that they have to be together, even though there's no data to back that up. So there's no data at all to say that leopard geckos should be kept apart from each other, other than obviously don't put males together and make sure they have the proper enclosure. But that goes with any species.
Yeah. But again, it's like, okay, like obviously you are seeing signs of there being no issue, and I don't understand why anyone who has the platform that you have would want to fuck that all up, you know. And I don't know, it was like you said, dude, people are so quick to jump the gun, you know. And in a sense, like this whole thing with you and the leopard geckos, like the story was clickbaity in general. Like in a sense, like the whole story of what happened to you was so clickbaity because it's wasn't that fucking big of a deal. It's just when I don't know if you had somebody pissed off at that time, but I just feel like only a small group of people try to make themselves seem like there are hundreds of thousands of them, but they're really not. And they just all went to fucking MorphMarket or wherever, Doobie or wherever the fuck you were sponsored at that time, and just fucking really nagging them and just making it seem like you're goddamn Hitler, you know?
Oh, 100%, dude. It was a bunch of TikTokers with like 2,000 followers. Like there was literal nobodies. Like, and I don't mean like they're nobody because they don't have a lot of followers. I just mean in terms of like, they held. There is zero chance that Dubia lost $1 in sales. But what they did instead is they made a big deal about it on social media, and then they looked like the ethical guys, and then they made a bunch of sales because of it. So they used the few people that were outraged, made it seem like it was a bunch of people that were outraged, and then they sold a bunch of enclosures off of it because they're the ethical guys now. This guy did something wrong, even though they have how many sellers on MorphMarket with pictures of leopard geckos together. So the whole thing was like a publicity stunt, but at the same time, I'm a business guy. I understand it's fine. It is what it is, you know, make your bread.
Yeah. And that's another reason why it's like, man, this whole topic cringes me out, because how fucked up people could try to work and manipulate. but it's also like, dude, that's the part of life. You know, it's like anyone's vulnerable of like this happening to them. And the more you push yourself, the more you have a bigger name, the more people want to see you fucking eat shit and just crumble and die and get out of here. You know, I mean, people are just fucking waiting for me to fuck up and just wait for me to just get canceled. Like, dude, and that's another reason why you and I have that connection, because they tried canceling me over being a bully. Like, the fuck, you know, but literally went after all my sponsors, like to the point where my sponsors all had to have a meeting, you know, like, because it was that they were getting that many emails and that much going on. And it's like, wow, like what the fuck? Like it's unbelievable.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been there with people going after sponsors. Luckily, my sponsors now, they're not cowards. They don't just run away from me.
Same here.
You know, so I'm very lucky. Like I vet sponsors because like I want to know who I'm getting into bed with. And if someone says something about me that isn't true, and then you just run away, like you are I'm not interested in doing business like that. So I've been very lucky. The sponsors that I have now are rock solid, and I love them, and they're fantastic. And then as long as I represent myself, because I am representing the company properly, then, you know, no issues. Everyone's good. And
if we really look at it, like we came out on top over this whole cancel, like, because obviously, like, we proved ourselves. Like, I mean, not that that was hard to do. I think it was a lot harder for me to prove myself than you, because I was fucking name dropping like a motherfucker and just just targeting people. And so, and mind you, I cut all that out. So cutting all that out made everything easier. But at the end of the day, man, we're just here for the reptiles, bro. That's it. We're relevant reptile keepers who love to put content on reptiles, and it's a good place to be.
100% agree, man. And that's why we all started this in the first place, is we all love reptiles. We all have a passion for it, and we all want to share our passion with somebody else, and hopefully somebody else can learn because of what we say on the internet. And to be in a position where if someone comes up to me at an expo and they're like, hey, my kid, I was terrified of reptiles, and now he wants a snake, and now I have a dining room full of snakes. That is like the biggest compliment ever, because they watched some bald guy on their TV in their living room, and all of a sudden now they become enamored with reptiles the way that I was. To me, that's like the biggest compliment that I could ever receive.
Love it. Yeah, you make yourself seem like you're just like a little tiny channel, and it's like
I feel like it, man. Like it's not lost on me that 6 years ago I was in some dude in a basement trying to make videos, and then for some reason the algorithm's like, no, we like that guy. So I feel I think that I worked very hard, and it is true. The harder you work, the luckier you get. But none of this happens without luck. And it's with any channel. If the algorithm doesn't pick you up, you're nobody. So there's, of course, tricks, and like you have to work hard. But at the end of the day, I do feel very lucky to be in this position.
Yeah. But mind you, dude, like consistency isn't really luck. Like you didn't stop. That's the thing. Like, and you know, that's what it takes, is not stopping, even though life will happen and you're just like, I don't fucking feel like editing. Well, guess what? Like, it's too bad, dude. Like, you gotta, and mind you, it's one thing I do like about having this gig with MorphMarket, because I don't want to let Darian down. So I feel like, motherfucker, like, you got to do this shit. But for my own channel, like, I wouldn't. But mind you, though, too, like, I only put out content with my own channel because I knew it was like documentation for my own stuff and how to help my own people. But also too, man, like, I didn't really grasp, like, you know, like I'm saying, like, I wasn't expecting much, because I knew I wasn't that consistent. Like, I wasn't putting out videos every day. I'm sorry, once a week for like years in. Like, I would stop. Like, I would maybe go 6 months and then stop posting for 2 months. And once you're that half in, you can't expect to do anything in YouTube. Like, you'll have good videos, but the real growth in YouTube longevity wise, if you're not doing it consistently, it's not going to work. I don't give a fuck what you say. It's just not going to work.
Well, and I think the thing is, too, a lot of people make excuses about, like, oh, I was tired and life came up. It's like, life's always going to come up. I've been doing this for 6 years. I promise you, I've had many I'm a baby born like on a Wednesday, and my video came out on time the next day. Like, it just, that's, dude, I'm sorry. Like, you know, like I've had both grandparents die, and uncle die. Like, I've had deaths in my family. I've got married. I've been halfway across the world. My videos always come out on time. Like, there's no excuse for it. And they come out on time on YouTube, and I put up 2 videos a week on Facebook. Those come out on time too. You know, like, so I just don't understand, but it's like anything else. So before I was a comedian, I was a bodybuilder, and that, I'll tell you what, if you want something that there's no days off, there is no days off. There is no meals that you can take off. I don't care if it's your birthday, your brother's birthday, Jesus' birthday, doesn't matter. You have to eat every 2 hours. That's it. And I did that. And if I can do that, I can put 2 videos at a week. So I think there's levels, you know, like you see these oil rigger guys and roofers in July, and it's like, dude, my job's pretty freaking easy. Just put the videos out.
Yeah. I mean, just wanting to lose weight in general is fucking not like, okay, you can lose some water weight and some fat, but like if you have serious goals, like weight loss goals and shit, dude, you got to count your macros. Like you got to, all that shit matters. Like the whole, I mean, diet's 80% of it. What did you say, Adam? Like, isn't that what
I would say, yep. 100, because you can go to the gym all day long. Like if you walk 25 miles a day and you eat nothing but Twinkies, you ain't losing weight. Sorry, it's just not going to work. Like losing weight in principle is the easiest thing in the world, the easiest thing on earth to do, because it's just math. 3,500 calories is 1 pound. Just eat 500 calories in a deficit every single week. You lose 1 pound. Guaranteed. Nobody's different. I promise you, there's nothing changes. The problem is, well, I want to go for beers with my friend, and you know, I want to eat birthday cake, and like I'm guilty of this too, dude. I'm not in great shape right now, and I know how to do it. I have pictures. There's pictures of me on the internet right now. You can look up. Like I've done this. I have trophies. I was the best in my weight class in my country, and now I'm just kind of a slob because I choose to be, and I choose to eat Twinkies beside my wife when we watch Yellowstone at 9 o'clock at night as our baby's crying on the floor. No, she's not crying on the floor, but he's crawling around, you know? So it's my own fault, right? It's you make choices, and the same thing with YouTube. You choose if you're going to be consistent or not. And if you are consistent, maybe you'll be successful, but I promise you'll never be successful if you are not consistent.
My wife will make a bomb, like really healthy dinner. And like, if I would have just went to bed eating that, it would have been perfect. But no, I wake up and I see a box of crumble that I got on Dashdoor or fucking Uber Eats, and I forgot I got that at 11 o'clock at night. For what? Just so we could do it while we're watching, because we enjoy it. We really do. We're watching a show and we're eating these fucking luxurious cookies, and it's like no regrets. But then again, like, look, you understand what you're looking at in the mirror. My wife, by the way, she's a fucking she does not miss the gym. Like that's like, oh my god, she has that in her. You know, that's just what she does. Dude, me, I don't have excuse, Adam, but I like the crumble eating part of things.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like it's the people in anything in life, like weight loss or videos or whatever, like the people, oh, I'm trying so hard. It's like, bro, I can tell by looking at you, you're not trying.
No, you're
like,
not.
You're not. Sorry.
Yeah,
you know, like, and my wife, she's breastfeeding, right? So she's eating like all these extra, and she looks great. She looks, you know, fantastic. And then I'm trying to keep up, and I'm like, bro, I can't. Like, I just can't. I got to do something. So I'm back at the gym pretty seriously now. So hopefully in a few months, everyone's looking at me like, yo, what's going on here? So that's what I'm hoping for.
If you would have heard how I used to sell and pitch personal training to people back in the day, like you'd be like, MJ, like how are, like, bro, they would put a box of tissues by my desk because I would have people crying. Like not because they feel, well, they kind of feel bad, but like they're so excited and they're so happy that they signed up and their life's going to change. Because mind you, like people who are going to take the time to sit down with me and ask how I can get my life together because I'm out of shape. And if you're telling me you don't need personal training, what the fuck? Why are you in the gym? Like, how are you going to go? Show me how you're going to do it on your own. I want to see it. Let's show me what you're going to do. Show me your first workout. They don't know what the fuck they're going to do. Half the time they'll do something the first couple workouts. And then by the third workout, they're walking around picking their nose. Like, I guess I'll just leave. You know what I mean? But like personal trainers have personal trainers. Like you need that coaching. And obviously you talk to this. Like, I mean, how many levels of coaching did you have in fucking, you know, being a professional bodybuilder? Like, dude, it's no joke.
It's funny too, because like the guys that I would look at guys who were coaches, so they were coaching people at like a regional level. Those guys had coaches, and then those coaches had coaches for themselves. So, and like there's very few people, like I did both years that I competed. I had a posing coach, but I didn't have a diet coach or a training coach. So I did it by myself, and I probably would have had better results honestly if I had a coach. But also I didn't have tons of money at the time, and coaches are really expensive. And also it's really difficult to find a coach if you're natural. So I competed natural. So I didn't do steroids, which is like so unhealthy, by the way. It's way more healthy. Like juice up. I'm not saying juice up. No, for real. It's because your testosterone level drops so much when you're that far in a deficit. It's so unhealthy. Like your body's like, what the hell are we doing here? So it's hard to find because most coaches coach enhanced athletes, so they don't know what the hell to do with you because your hormone levels are all fucked, so they don't know what to do with your diet to make your hormones. So you almost have to have like a endocrinologist, a hormone doctor, you know what I'm trying to say, to work as a natural athlete. So, but either way, like the point being, anything in life, if you're not going to be consistent and you're not going to try, then it's just not going to work for you. Like success isn't going to jump out at you. Gold play buttons don't fall from the sky. Sorry, unless you're hawked to a girl, but unless that, like that's a different thing.
I don't. Okay, maybe I don't talk about this on live. I don't give a shit. But what's your advice? I'm about to hit 40 in August. I don't want to say I don't feel the same in the gym, but should I consider doing some tests at this point? Stay away from it. What would you recommend?
So this is gonna be like very controversial, but I'm very pro TRT. Like I think that if you have like I don't know what your test level is. Obviously, you don't either.
Blood work in a week, so I'll know in a week.
Perfect. So if you're at the level at 300, I forget exactly what it is, but if you're even close to that level, dude, there's no stigma about it. Like why, if you have low testosterone, you have brain fog, you're not going to create gains, your workouts are going to suck, you're going to experience issues that your wife isn't going to like eventually. So like seriously, and it's like it's a hormone thing. Like there's nothing to be sad about, or like just if you're close to that, like dude, when I go for blood work and they're like, oh, you're close, I'm like, jack me up, bro. I don't want to live a life where I'm tired all the time and I have no energy. No, I want to feel like I'm 25 when I'm 40. Like I'll stick myself twice a week to do it. I don't care.
Okay. Yeah, I just my biggest fear, obviously, I'm already high strung and I fucking have my moments, I guess, where I want to run through walls. So I don't know if that's gonna make everything. But then again, if I'm feeling like that, then is my test low? I don't know. Like I said, I've never got my levels checked. I'm already scheduled. I have buddies my age who are fucking on that shit and they're jacked as shit. I'm like, fuck, dude, like, what am I missing? Am I missing that? They're like, oh, dude, I feel like fucking like I'm 20. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's what it is. It's the fountain of youth. And like all those guys who like die of it or are sick because of it.
On a million other things.
Dude, they're not just doing tests. Like those guys are doing a gram of tests. Where like if you're on TRT, you're going to be doing like 100 or 150 milligrams a week. These guys are on a gram of test or 2 grams of test. There's this Toshi guy who's like this big, he's a gambling streamer now, but he used to be like a fitness influencer. That's what he says. He's like, dude, don't do crack, don't do coke, just jump straight to steroids. It's the best thing in the world. And this dude's doing like 0.5 gram of Tren. Like Tren is the most evil thing in the whole world. So if you're not doing all of that stuff that's enlarging your heart and like, can I use a growth hormone? If you're doing a little bit of tests, I promise you're going to be healthier than if you weren't doing it, as long as you don't have like a history of like some sort of health condition that would be adverse to it. But yeah, my point is, as soon as I no longer feel like myself anymore and I can't make gains in the gym, I'm sticking needles in my butt. Like that's how it's going to go.
Damn, I hate needles, but I do.
Me too.
You want gains.
Yeah, it's funny too, man. I got like more tattoos than like most people, but I do not like needles. But I think that was like part of why I never did steroids in the first place. I'm like, yeah, I gotta stick myself every day with a needle. But then I don't know if there's a stuff called melanotan. It's a peptide. I used to stick it's a tanning peptide. So basically it makes your skin, like I looked like a Puerto Rican pool boy by the end of the summer. I was sticking myself with this stuff. Like my mom looked at me, she's like, what are you doing? So like I was sticking that's like a peptide that you can buy legally. So it's legal. It's all good. But you stick it in like your belly fat and then you go in the sun for 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden it looks like you're identifying as African or something. Like it looks like I was before Rachel Dolezal, I was the first one. Okay.
Dude, my biggest fear of all the whole like, I mean, is test steroids? That's not right, or it is. It is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so, and basically it's a hormones, and like every steroid is more or less a testosterone derivative. So yeah, I mean, it just the thing that also would worry me is like some people are very estrogen responsive, and if you're on test, then your estrogen goes crazy, and then that's when you can start like growing boobs, basically. So.
But you just if you hit it extra hard in the gym, then your chances of having that is unlikely. You just have to work out a lot harder, right? Isn't it like?
No, I mean, it's dependent on how your system and like how like if you already if you're already a person who produces a lot of estrogen, and there's no way to know. It's not like then it's going to happen if you take more tests, then the estrogen is going to try to keep up, and that's when you start getting gyno and things like that, and acne and stuff like that. So like there's guys I know who they have this fantastic physique, but then they take their shirt off and it's like, bro, that looks terrible. It looks awful. Just, and there's certain people like, who Ronnie Coleman is, like 8-time Mr. Olympia. Yeah. That dude like if you have the genetics of that guy, you can take a little bit and then be the best guy in the world at, you know, I could take grams of shit and I would never look even close to one of those guys. So it's about your genetics too. Your genetics is like a huge thing.
I think that's where people fuck up, is like they don't realize no matter what you take, you're never going to get to like that, because genetically you're not but they don't care, and they'll do it to where they fucking overdose basically. I just want to fucking feel good. That's it. I don't like I said, I am not fucking like hard on about having 6 fucking pack and being men's health fitness. Yeah, I want good arms and I want fucking a good chest and a fucking big back, just to let you in my ear, my jiu-jitsu ear, to let you know don't fuck with me. But that's it. I don't fucking give a fuck about my, you know, I just want to feel good, you know. That's my thing.
Yeah, and I think most people can, you know, accomplish that naturally. And I just think that at a certain age, it doesn't matter what you do. I mean, at a certain age, your test level is just going to go into the dump. And, you know, you see those guys like Rogan is a perfect example.
God,
30 years ago, there was no 60-year-old man who looked like that.
No.
And that dude, he's very open and honest about like he's on test. And if he wasn't, I promise you, he would not look like that. He wouldn't think like that. His face wouldn't look like that. So testosterone just makes you more masculine all the way around.
And again, we're in 2025. So it's like we're only heading towards fountain of youth type shit. It's kind of, you know, where the future's always was kind of expected to go. So yeah, crazy how we fucking went on this rant about test.
Yeah, welcome to Trap Talk, where we talk about steroids.
Welcome to Test Talk. All right, listen, I got a wrap up topic before I let you go tonight.
Sure.
Obviously, you kind of not being on the whole breeder side of things, I know you pay attention to some of the stuff that's happening. What are you thinking of the amount of people dropping out of the reptile hobby? Like, do you see it like the way we see it? Like every day, I feel like there's somebody posting a collection for sale, a rack for sale. Are you surprised? You shocked? I want to just get your take on the current state of the reptile market.
I think that, so there's a few factors. Like, first of all, I think that people got into reptiles really heavy or like bulked up during COVID. And I think that they had stimulus checks and extra time and stuff. And then once they went back to work, it might have been immediate, or for some people it took longer. And then now we're in a position where, you know, a lot of people don't have tons and tons of money. And especially in this country, dude, anyway, I don't want to go into it because it's the whole Canada thing, but I see that a lot now. Like, especially like during COVID, and then it's only ramped up. So I see a lot of collections for sale. I see a lot of big time animals for sale. People are having a hard time selling the big ticket items now, especially here in Canada. That's what I noticed about the last 2 expos, Tinley and Dallas, is people were buying reptiles. I go to reptile expos here and everyone empty-handed window shopping because they have no money. So I think that it's, you know, it depends where you are, but I've definitely seen a lot of people dropping out of the hobby. And I think it's not only an interest thing, but it's just a time thing.
And, you know, obviously I feel like if somebody really wants to have a long run into the reptile hobby, you got to find like another niche other than just keeping the reptiles. Because I feel like having multiple, I guess, I don't want to say hustles, but things that you do in one hobby could make, you know, increase your chances of sticking around longer. Mm-hmm. I feel like the biggest thing that people are not doing as much anymore, which I understand it's a lot of work, but YouTube, like how come people aren't documenting their breeding projects and how it once was a popular thing, but now you look and no one's really putting out information anymore. Like it's not as popular. Do you think that's something people should really reconsider, being new into this? Like start picking up the habit of YouTube even today? Like it's still a free fucking thing that you can do. I don't know why people wouldn't want to take advantage of it. I
think that a lot of people, especially during COVID, tried. How many podcasts were there during COVID, right? For reptiles?
Oh, yeah. They're falling down. The podcast side of things are going down one by one also, just so you guys know.
So you're part of that world. So like to compare it, like who's left? You and Dylan and Foddy. That's kind of it, right? Like that's basically it. So, and I think that's the same thing with, because it takes so much time and I think it's hard. So I think it's not like people don't try or didn't try. I think that they try and they fall off fast because they realize there's so much competition. Like I put a lot of effort in my videos. Imagine Brian, right? Brian Barczyk, that channel has a team, right? So you're competing with that. You're competing with Jay, who has all the money in the world, and Emily, who Emily's a different thing. Like her video quality is fantastic, but she's just so well liked. So I think that there's so much competition now, and people don't have the attention span to watch a Reptile Room tour where it's me holding up my phone. Okay, and then this is this, and then this is this. Like people don't watch that crap anymore. So I think that, or not crap, but like there's so much competition. So I think that most people don't have the time, and it takes so much time to learn. And then when you do learn, it still takes a lot of time. So I just think it's we're past the days of point and shoot and upload. I think that's all it is.
Yeah. I mean, we all know Emily has one demographic of viewerships, which you have that, it's over. And that's the youth, the children, the kids love Emily. And so, and mind you, a lot of, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying she's known for that, but like, you know, there's people like how I came in my 30s, fucking grown, you know, I'm a grown man, just want to hang out with other fucking guys and just learn, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like what it was that big COVID push. A lot of people had time on their hands and they fucking were trying to shoot for the fences. And for whatever reason, they just fall off by the wayside. But I don't know no other life, Adam. I don't.
Well, I also think that people have less time to watch, so the consumer has less time too. So like I think I don't know one channel who wasn't doing better per video during COVID than they are now. I think even the big channels have dropped off a bit in terms of like their average viewership. So that's just what I see. I mean, I know data, but this is just from my own eyes of what I see.
Even on the way bigger side of things, I can't even think on the top of my head. I don't want to say Nelk boys, but like just people who were just fucking slaying it at one point, they just stopped because it's just not worth their time no more. It's like the viewerships just it's not what it once was. And that's because COVID was a different time. You know, it was way different. Motherfuckers
especially the daily vloggers, right? Like the daily vloggers, everybody, because, you know, I wake up and have my coffee at 10 o'clock and, you know, I'm remote working and we don't have that luxury anymore. So people aren't watching as much as they used to. So they've kind of cut a lot of people. So if it's a daily vlog, people probably aren't going to watch every day like they did. I think Barczyk is really the only one that's still doing that.
Man, every day, bro. Like, what the fuck? I'll never forget. And, you know, mind you, like I drop a podcast every day on this network, so I have that inspiration of Barczyk for sure. But like I just don't know how that guy vlogged every day, really every day.
And then he would get like genuinely upset if he had to miss a day because he was sick. Like, and this is before he got sick. Like even like a few years ago, you know, I got the flu and I can't, and he'd be like profusely apologizing. And it's like, bro, you're good. I've had 600 days in a row of you. Take a break. Okay. I promise I'll be here tomorrow. So I think, and honestly, I don't think he was worried about his viewer abandoning him. I don't think that was it. Like most of us are. I think he was just genuinely felt like he was letting people down because he wasn't making a video that day. And another testament to how he was. Like, don't get me wrong, like Brian, you know, had lots of money and fame and like he was a business guy, but at the same time, like he was not a guy that money drove. He didn't do everything for money. And I think there are people in this hobby that do almost everything for money to the point where it looks like they've lost their passion for animals. Maybe it was there before, probably, definitely, but now that dollar was worth a lot more than any animal life. And I don't think Brian ever got that way.
Brian was about the growth. Like he knew he was in a position to like make this hobby a lot bigger, you know, but he wanted to do it by bringing in good people. Like, you know, like, and what I mean by that, he wanted to do it by sending a good message, like being a good example, even though he didn't really, the beginning YouTube days wasn't really like that. It was all like, but then again, like who was around? Like who else was doing it? Like he obviously learned as he was going along, you know, but to go from that end to like being the biggest fucking inspiration, like educational wise on YouTube with reptiles, like it's just so inspiring, you know.
Yeah, there's nobody like him, and I don't think that there ever is going to be somebody like him either.
No, man. Nope, you said it. But listen, great times. I appreciate you so much for coming on. You know, I gotta say, probably the next time I'll see you will be Legacy in July, whatever in July. So,
yeah, Animal Con in July, or whatever they're going to call it. Yeah, but I'll see you then for sure. I'll definitely be there no matter what.
I don't have anything booked for July specifically because I'm leaving it open for.
No, I'll see you in Pomona in June.
Oh yeah, Trap Fest hopefully too.
Yeah, Trap Fest too. Yeah.
All right, cool. Adam Wickens, YouTube. I'm sorry, Instagram is the most place where you're active. You would say if people want to reach out or just hit you up, where should people follow you at, Adam?
Yeah, so follow me on YouTube, of course. But yeah, other than that, like where you can DM me or whatever, then Instagram for sure. I'm also on Facebook and really trying to grow that too. And then if you want to TikTok, I'm not 12, but I'm trying my best on there too.
All right. I'll put all the links to Adam's social media platforms in the description below. Go check them out. But it's a wrap for Adam Wickens, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks,
you,
brother. Appreciate it. See you guys.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate you, buddy.
See you guys.
Great episode, man. Thank you to everyone in the chats. Trish, awesome husband of yours. What a guy. Big fan of Adam, and it was cool to catch up. If you guys enjoyed tonight's podcast, before you leave, hit the like button for Adam. Let's get the likes on. We're just shy of 100 people tapped into the live tonight. Thank you for everyone who came and hung out. But let's get the likes up, all right? And drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Let me know where you're at when it comes to the overall state of the market. You know, I want to get your guys' feedback. And yeah, man, looking forward to bringing you guys some amazing content. Don't forget, Trap Talk Reptile Network 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. Okay, and you can catch all these episodes on all the major audio platforms. And of course, for exclusive content, for early release access to stuff, come join the Trap Talk Patreon family. First link in description below. Connect to the Discord, amazing Instagram group chat. All right, Trap Fest 2025. Have you heard? Adam Wickens possibly pulling up to Trap Fest. The RSVP list for Trap Fest is second to none. It's gonna be one for the books. Shout out to my Patreon members. You guys are my heart, man. Great episode tonight. Before I let you guys go, please check out my sponsors. Cheers. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, and plenty other arboreal snakes have been quite the popularity here at the Trap Talk Reptile Network, which brings me to today's sponsor, the Reptile Perch. Head over to the reptileperch.com and Reptile Perch on Instagram. See what type of design PVC perch is best for your arboreal reptile. But first and foremost, I would also check out David Brom's Green Tree Python availability on the website. You can also check out his Instagram just to stay current on any projects or any productions that he posts. Thank you so much, David Brahms, for your ongoing support. Looking forward to seeing what you have to show in the 2025 season. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website. See what he has available Green Tree Python wise and be ready for quite the 2025 Green Tree Python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the Green Tree Python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the Green Tree Python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the trap. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with Abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, it's Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Cheers.